Hey guys, tonight we begin with one of ancient Rome's most, let's call it creative hygiene practices. A time when the height of dental sophistication involved gargling someone else's bathroom business. Yes, you heard that right. The Romans, builders of aqueducts, conquerors of nations, and pioneers of law, thought pee was the perfect solution for a brighter smile. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Picture this. You wake up in ancient Rome, circa 100 CE. The sun is barely peeking over the Seven Hills, and your mouth tastes like you've been chewing on a sandal all night, which, honestly, isn't far from the truth considering last night's wine was basically fermented grape juice mixed with whatever herbs the tavern keeper thought would mask the vinegar taste. You stumble out of bed, scratch yourself in places that polite society pretends don't exist, and shuffle toward your morning routine. But wait, this isn't your modern bathroom with mint toothpaste and a sonic toothbrush that plays your favorite tune. No, no, no. This is Rome, baby. And Romans had different ideas about oral hygiene. You reach for your dental care kit, which consists of a stick with frayed ends, some crushed bones and oyster shells for scrubbing, and a piece de resistance, a clay jar filled with aged human urine. Not your own, mind you. That would be barbaric. This is imported Portuguese urine, the Chateau Margaux of pee, if you will. Because even in ancient times, people were snobs about their brands. You pour some of this liquid gold into a cup. Try not to think too hard about its journey from someone's bladder in Lusitania to your morning gargle. The smell hits you first. Sharp, acrid, with notes of ammonia that could wake the dead. Or at least wake your roommate, who's now groaning and pulling his wool blanket over his head. You take a deep breath, which was a mistake, because now you're tasting the smell, and bring the cup to your lips. The first swish is an experience. Your eyes water. Your nose burns. Your soul questions every decision that led you to this moment. But you persist because you're a civilized Roman, not some barbarian who walks around with fuzzy teeth and dragon breath. You gargle vigorously, the ammonia tingling against your gums, supposedly killing all those nasty mouth demons that make your breath smell like a gladiator's armpit. 30 seconds feel like 30 years. Finally, you spit into the waste pot, your mouth now feeling simultaneously cleaner and somehow more contaminated than before. But here's the thing. You actually feel pretty good about yourself. Your teeth do feel cleaner, even if they taste like a public latrine. Your breath, while not exactly mini fresh, at least doesn't smell like rotting fish sauce anymore. And most importantly, you participated in one of Rome's most sophisticated beauty rituals. You're not just some plebeian with yellow teeth. You're a refined citizen who understands the finer points of ammonia-based oral care. Your neighbor Marcus walks by and nods approvingly. His teeth gleam white in the morning sun, a testament to his own dedication to the urine gargling arts. "Good morning, Quintus," he says, his breath wafting over with just a hint of yesterday's asparagus. "I see you're using the Portuguese blend. Excellent choice. I've been trying a Gallic variety, but it's a bit too earthy for my taste." You nod sagely, as if you're discussing wine varietals and not human waste products. This is your life now. This is peak Roman civilization. And somehow, inexplicably, it actually works. Your teeth are whiter than the average Germanic tribesman's. Your smile could launch 1,000 ships, or at least not sink them with its stench. You're living proof that sometimes, just sometimes, our ancestors' weirdest ideas weren't completely insane. Just mostly insane, with a side of ammonia. Now, you might be wondering how a civilization sophisticated enough to build a pantheon and invent concrete decided that urine was the answer to dental hygiene. Well, settle in, because this journey to ancient Rome's most questionable beauty secret starts with sheep. Yes, sheep. See, Roman shepherds noticed something interesting about their wool-bearing friends. When sheep peed on their own wool, which happened more often than you'd think because sheep aren't exactly known for their bathroom etiquette, something magical occurred. The wool became cleaner, whiter, and easier to work with. This wasn't shepherd superstition. This was chemistry in action, though the Romans didn't know it yet. What they'd stumbled upon was ammonia, that sharp-smelling compound that forms when urine breaks down. Ammonia is a natural cleaning agent, a degreaser, and a mild bleach. It's the reason your grandmother might have used ammonia-based window cleaners, minus the whole human waste origin story. The Romans, being practical people when they weren't busy conquering the known world or throwing elaborate orgies, thought, if it works on sheep wool, why not teeth? But the Romans weren't the first to make this connection. Oh no, the ancient Egyptians, those trend-setting mummy makers, had been using urine in their beauty routines for centuries. They just didn't make as big a deal about it. The Greeks too had dabbled in urine-based medicines, though they were more interested in drinking it for health benefits, which is a whole other level of nope we won't get into tonight. The Romans, however, turned urine collecting into an art form. They didn't just use any old pee. They were connoisseurs. They discovered that the urine of young men who ate a lot of vegetables produced the best results. Wine drinkers' urine was considered inferior, too acidic, and the urine of meat eaters? Absolutely not. Too pungent, too dark, too likely to make your teeth fall out rather than sparkle. Collecting this liquid gold became a legitimate business. Public urinals, called doliums, were placed strategically around the city. These weren't just convenient places to relieve yourself after a long Senate session. They were collection points for the urine industry. Fullers, who were essentially ancient dry cleaners, would send slaves around to collect the contents of these public pots. The urine would then be aged like fine wine, because fresh urine apparently wasn't sophisticated enough for Roman standards. The aging process was crucial. Fresh urine is mostly water with some urea and other compounds. But let it sit for a while, let those bacteria work their magic, and you get a concentrated ammonia solution. The Romans discovered that urine aged for about a week hit the sweet spot. Strong enough to clean, but not so strong it would dissolve your teeth entirely. They even had quality control. Fullers would test the concentration by smell, and sometimes, horrifyingly, by taste. Because nothing says professional standards like a urine sommelier. Portuguese urine became the Dom Perignon of the pee world for reasons that are still debated by historians. Some say it was because the Portuguese diet, heavy in certain herbs and vegetables, produced superior ammonia. Others claim it was just good marketing. After all, if you're going to gargle someone else's waste, it might as well be exotic foreign waste. The Portuguese, for their part, were happy to export their national resource. It was a booming trade that probably funded more than a few villa renovations back in Lusitania. Roman medical texts from the period speak highly of urine's therapeutic properties. Pliny the Elder, that exhaustive chronicler of everything remotely interesting in the natural world, devoted several passages to urine's benefits. According to him, urine could cure gout, heal wounds, remove stains, and yes, whiten teeth. He recommended morning urine as the most potent, collected from healthy young men who hadn't eaten garlic. Because even in ancient Rome, garlic breath was a deal breaker. By the time of Emperor Vespasian, the urine trade had become so lucrative that he imposed a tax on it. When his son Titus complained that taxing toilet waste was beneath the dignity of the empire, Vespasian supposedly held up a gold coin and said, "Money doesn't stink." Thus was born the phrase pecunia non olet, proving that dad jokes transcend time and culture. So there you have it. The Romans didn't just randomly decide to rinse with pee one day. They observed, experimented, and refined their technique over generations. They turned a waste product into a beauty product through sheer determination and a willingness to ignore the obvious ick factor. And honestly, that's kind of impressive. Disgusting, but impressive. Let's talk about your morning routine as a proper Roman citizen, shall we? Because using urine as mouthwash wasn't just a quick rinse and spit situation. Oh no, this was a whole production, a ritual as elaborate as any religious ceremony, just with more ammonia fumes. First, you'd wake up at dawn, because Romans were annoyingly productive morning people. No sleeping in until noon for you. The city is already buzzed with activity, and you need to get your oral hygiene sorted before you head to the forum to argue about grain prices or whatever it is you do for a living. You shuffle to your hygiene corner, where your dental supplies await. First up is your dentifricium, a tooth powder that would make modern dentists weep. It's a delightful mixture of crushed bones, burnt eggshells, pumice stone, and if you're feeling fancy, some crushed pearls. Yes, pearls. Because nothing says dental health like grinding up jewelry and rubbing on your teeth. You mix this powder with a bit of water or, if you're really committed to cause, more urine to make a paste. Next comes your chew stick, the ancestor of the toothbrush. It's usually made from the Salvadora persica tree, known for its antiseptic properties. You've been chewing on one end for days, now to fray it into bristles. It looks like a paintbrush that's seen better days and smells vaguely wood rot, but it gets the job done. You dip your sad little stick into your bone and pearl paste and start scrubbing. The sensation is unique. The pumice scratches against your enamel with a sound that makes your spine tingle. The burnt eggshell tastes like disappointment mixed with chalk. And the bone powder? Let's just say it adds a certain cemetery chic flavor to the whole experience. You scrub vigorously, because Romans believed that the harder you scrub, the cleaner your teeth would be. The fact that you're essentially sandblasting your enamel into oblivion doesn't occur to you. That's a problem for future you, assuming you live past 40. After a solid 5 minutes of grinding mineral paste into your teeth, it's time for the main event, the urine rinse. You've got your special jar, marked with the seal of your preferred urine merchant. Today it's Gaius's premium Portuguese blend, aged for exactly 7 days in terracotta vessels. The label promises superior whitening power and the breath of the gods, though you suspect the gods in question might be the ones of the underworld. You pour a generous amount into your designated urine cup. Yes, you have a special cup just for this. No, you don't use it for wine. Not anymore. Not after that unfortunate dinner party. Incident we don't talk about. The key to a good urine gargle, according to your dentist, is temperature. Room temperature urine is optimal. Too cold, and it doesn't activate properly. Too hot, and, well, hot urine is a sensory experience no one needs. You've learned this the hard way. You take your first mouthful, and the technique is crucial here. You don't just swish and spit like some amateur. No, you need to pull the urine through your teeth, forcing it between every gap and crevice. The Romans called this a tractio, and it was considered essential for proper dental health. You pull, you swish, you gargle deep in your throat where the real bacteria hide. Your eyes water, your nose runs, your soul leaves your body temporarily. But your teeth are getting cleaner by the second. The recommended gargling time is about 2 minutes, though it feels like 2 hours. You count slowly in your head, occasionally pausing to suppress your gag reflex. Around the 30-second mark, you hit what veteran urine garglers call the acceptance phase. Your taste buds simply give up and stop sending distress signals to your brain. This is when the real cleaning happens. Finally, mercifully, you spit into your waste pot with the force of a small aqueduct. But you're not done yet. Oh no, a proper Roman rinses with water afterward, but not just any water. This is water mixed with wine and honey, sometimes with a bit of mint if you're feeling particularly luxurious. This final rinse is supposed to seal in the cleanliness and mask any lingering ammonia taste. It works about as well as spraying perfume in a fish market, but it's the thought that counts. You examine your teeth in your polished bronze mirror. They do look whiter, though that might just be in comparison to your now pale complexion. You bare your teeth at your reflection, practicing your confident Roman citizen smile. Not bad. Not bad at all. Sure, you smell faintly of a public restroom, but your teeth could blind a barbarian at 20 paces. Your slave nods approvingly and offers you a sprig of parsley to chew. This is a final step in your oral hygiene routine, nature's breath mint. You chew thoughtfully. The fresh green tastes a welcome relief after your ammonia adventure. By the time you're dressed in your toga and ready to face the day, you almost forget that you started your morning gargling human waste. Almost. This is your life as a hygiene-conscious Roman. Every single morning. For decades. And the worst part? You're actually one of the lucky ones with access to the good stuff. The poor plebeians are out there using local urine, or, gods forbid, their own. You shudder at the thought as you stride out into the Roman sunshine, your chemically whitened teeth gleaming. ready to conquer the day with your Portuguese perfected smile. Now, you might think urine mouthwash was something only the common folk used, a disgusting necessity for those who couldn't afford better alternatives. But oh, how wrong you'd be. Rome's elite didn't just use urine mouthwash. They made it fashionable. Picture yourself at a high society dinner party in the villa of Senator Marcus Aurelius Pretentious. You're reclining on your dining couch, picking at dormice stuffed with pine nuts, when the conversation turns to personal grooming. "I've just imported a new batch from Lusitania," says the senator's wife, her teeth gleaming like polished marble in the lamplight. "My merchant assures me it's from vegetarian athletes only. You can really taste the difference." Around the room, other patricians nod knowingly. Lady Claudia mentions she's been mixing her urine rinse with crushed mint from her private garden. Senator Brutus swears by adding a drop of rose oil to his morning gargle. It gives it a certain je ne sais quoi, he says, using a phrase that won't be invented for another 1,000 years, but perfectly captures pretentiousness. You see, Roman high society had turned urine mouthwash into an art form. They had tasting parties. Yes, you heard that right. Wealthy Romans would gather to sample different varieties of aged urine, discussing the subtle notes and overtones like modern wine snobs. This one has a particularly robust ammonia profile. One might say, swirling the yellow liquid in a crystal goblet, with just a hint of asparagus on the back end. The poetry of the era reflects this obsession. Catullus, that saucy poet who never met a bodily function, he couldn't turn into verse, wrote extensively about the Spanish and their urine-whitened teeth. In one particularly nasty poem aimed at a rival, he mocks a Spaniard named Ignatius for smiling too much, suggesting his gleaming white teeth were a constant reminder of his unsavory hygiene habits. But here's the thing. Even as Catullus mocked, he probably gargled with the same stuff. Roman humor was nothing if not hypocritical. The empress herself was rumored to have a dedicated urine sommelier, a slave whose only job was to source and age the finest specimens from across the empire. Imagine that job interview. "So, what special skills do you bring to the palace?" "Well, I have an exceptionally refined palate for human waste products." "You're hired." Medical professionals of the time, and I use that term loosely, endorse urine therapy with the enthusiasm of modern Instagram influencers pushing detox teas. Galen, the celebrity physician whose medical texts would dominate European medicine for over 1,000 years, wrote extensively about urine's benefits. He classified different types by color, clarity, and source, creating a whole taxonomy of pee. Clear urine from young boys was considered medicinal. Dark urine from older men was good for leather working, but terrible for teeth. Urine from pregnant women had special properties that I won't go into, because even I have limits. The truly wealthy didn't just gargle with any urine. They had specific suppliers. Often young slaves fed specialized diets to produce the perfect product. These urine donors lived better than many free citizens, eating carefully regulated meals of vegetables, herbs, and spring water. No garlic, no strong spices, no beans. They were basically human breeder filters, processing food into premium mouthwash. Some patricians took it even further. They'd have their urine custom blended, like a bespoke perfume. A little Portuguese for whitening power, some Greek for that Mediterranean finish. Maybe a splash of Germanic for that barbarian fighting freshness. The combinations were endless, limited only by imagination and how much you were willing to pay for imported pee. Fashion-conscious Romans even coordinated their urine choices with the seasons. Spring called for lighter, fresher blends from younger donors. Winter demanded robust, aged varieties that could stand up to hearty Roman feasts. Summer, that required special handling to prevent spoilage, often involving underground storage in specially designed ceramic containers that maintained the perfect temperature for ammonia development. The ultimate status symbol wasn't just using urine mouthwash. It was being knowledgeable about it. At dinner parties, you were expected to discuss your oral hygiene routine with the same sophistication you bring to debating Cicero's latest oration. "I find that a 7-day fermentation really brings out the cleaning properties," you might say, while your dining companions nod sagely. Though I must admit, I've been experimenting with a 10-day age for special occasions. Merchants made fortunes importing and distributing premium urine. They had trade routes specifically for transporting human waste across the Mediterranean. Ships loaded with amphoras of Portuguese sailed alongside vessels carrying wine and olive oil. Pirates probably had very confusing raids. Captain, we've seized their cargo. Excellent. What treasures did we find? Well, it's complicated. Even Roman graffiti reflected this obsession. Archaeologists have found bathroom wall scrawlings in Pompeii advertising premium urine suppliers, complete with customer testimonials. Quintus's quintessential quintet, 5-star urine for discerning mouths. I tried Marcus's mixture, and my teeth have never been whiter. Satisfied customer. Boycott Gaius. His urine gave me canker sores. Anonymous. The public baths, those centers of Roman social life, had special sections for oral hygiene, where citizens could purchase single-use portions of urine rinse, like an ancient vending machine, but infinitely worse. Bath attendants would offer different grades, from the economy, plebeian blend, to the exclusive senatorial select. The peer pressure was real. You couldn't show up at the baths with yellow teeth any more than you could show up in a shabby toga. And the social protocols. If someone complimented your smile, etiquette demanded you share your urine source. It was considered good manners to recommend your supplier, like modern people sharing their dentist contact information. Thank you. I used Titus's Tuscan blend. He has a shop near the Forum. Tell him Marcellus sent you, and he'll give you a discount. This wasn't just about vanity. White teeth were a sign of civilization, of being properly Roman. Barbarians had yellow teeth. Savages didn't gargle with aged urine. Only the refined citizens of the Eternal City understood the true art of ammonia-based oral care. It was a mark of distinction, a daily ritual that separated the culture from the crude. So next time you complain about the price of toothpaste, remember that Roman patricians were literally paying premium prices for aged human waste. And they were proud of it. They wrote poems about it. They discussed it at parties. They built entire trade networks around it. Because in ancient Rome, nothing said, I've made in society, quite like gargling with imported pee from the finest bladders in the empire. Let's step into the sandals of Marcus the Merchant, Rome's premier urine distributor, and a man who built an empire on other people's bladder control. Marcus didn't set out to become a pee peddler. He started as a fuller, one of those hard-working folks who cleaned and whitened togas for a living. But Marcus had vision. He saw opportunity where others saw only waste. Why? Marcus thought one day while collecting urine from the public doliums, am I giving this liquid gold away to those tooth powder makers for almost nothing? I could be selling this directly to the people. And thus, Marcus's marvelous mouth rinse was born. Running a urine business in ancient Rome required logistics that would make modern Amazon executives weep. First, you needed collection points. Marcus started by striking deals with tavern owners. He placed large clay vessels outside popular drinking establishments with signs reading, "Contribute to Rome's dental health." Most drunk Romans were happy to oblige, especially after several jugs of wine. But quantity wasn't everything. Quality mattered. Marcus employed a team of collectors who were trained to assess urine by sight and smell. They could tell at a glance whether someone had been eating too much garum or drinking subpar wine. Bad diet meant bad product, and Marcus had standards. The real money, Marcus discovered, was in specialization. He created Rome's first urine classification system. Premium Portuguese, imported weekly, aged to perfection. Athletic blend, sourced exclusively from gladiator schools. Vegetarian special, from slaves fed only vegetables and herbs. The emperor's choice, we don't ask where this comes from. Economy mix, local collection, minimal aging for the budget conscious. Each variety came in specially designed ceramic containers with Marcus's seal. Counterfeiting was a real problem. Unscrupulous merchants would dilute premium urine with water, or, worse, mix in inferior local products. Marcus combated this by adding secret ingredients to his blends, a bit of mint here, some rose water there, creating a signature taste that couldn't be replicated. The aging process took place in massive underground cellars beneath his shop. Temperature control was crucial. Too hot, and the ammonia would evaporate. Too cold, and the fermentation would stop. Marcus employed a full-time cellar master whose only job was to monitor the aging vessels, stirring them daily with long wooden paddles and testing the ammonia levels. This poor soul probably couldn't smell anything else for the rest of his life. Distribution was another challenge. Fresh urine had to be transported quickly from collection points to the aging facility. Marcus had a fleet of specialized carts, sealed to prevent spillage and marked with his business insignia. These carts had right-of-way in Roman traffic, a privilege usually reserved for religious processions and military supplies. Because in Rome, dental hygiene was serious business. Marketing was crucial. Marcus hired criers to stand in the forum and extol the virtues of his products. Citizens, is your breath offensive to the gods? Do your teeth shame your ancestors? Try Marcus's marvelous mouth rinse, guaranteed to whiten, brighten, and frighten away all oral demons. He sponsored gladiatorial games, with banners proclaiming, "These warriors trust Marcus's mix." He paid poets to write odes to oral hygiene. He even commissioned a series of frescoes showing the journey of urine from bladder to bottle, though these were considered a bit too avant-garde for most Roman tastes. Competition was fierce. Rival merchants tried everything from price wars to sabotage. There are records of mysterious fires in urine warehouses, clearly arson. One competitor spread rumors that Marcus's Portuguese imports were actually just Spanish urine in disguise. The scandal nearly ruined him until he invited customers to a public tasting to prove his product's authenticity. Yes, a urine tasting. Rome was a different time. Marcus also had to navigate the complex world of Roman bureaucracy. There were health inspectors who needed bribing, tax collectors who took their cut, and religious officials who occasionally declared certain types of urine ritually impure. During one memorable incident, a shipment was held at port because a customs officer insisted on classifying aged urine as wine, which carried a higher import duty. The legal battle lasted months. But the real challenge was maintaining supply chains across the empire. Portuguese urine didn't just magically appear in Rome. It required a network of suppliers, middlemen, and transporters. Marcus had agents in Lusitania who worked with local collectors. The urine was first aged locally, then sealed in specially designed amphoras for the sea journey. Ship captains charged extra for carrying such cargo, partly because of the smell, partly because of the risk. One storm, one broken seal, and your entire ship reeked for months. The logistics of keeping urine fresh during transport were mind-boggling. Summer shipments required extra seal wax to prevent evaporation. Winter shipments needed insulation to prevent freezing. And pirates? They usually threw urine cargo overboard immediately. Even pirates had standards. Marcus kept detailed records, some of which have survived. His ledgers show purchases of 500 amphoras of Portuguese premium per month, 200 pounds of sealing wax, 50 collection vessels, countless bribes listed as administrative fees, one unfortunate entry for new clothes after warehouse accident. He also had to manage his workforce. Urine collectors were paid well, but had trouble finding wives. Warehouse workers demanded hazard pay. His delivery drivers often faced mockery in the streets. But Marcus treated them fairly, even instituting Rome's first employee bathing stipend. Because if you worked in urine all day, you needed all the baths you could get. The business made Marcus wealthy beyond his wildest dreams. He bought a villa on the Palatine Hill, though his neighbors kept their distance. He funded public works, including a fountain ironically dedicated to fresh water. He even endowed a scholarship for promising young fullers, ensuring the next generation would carry on the proud tradition of urine commerce. When Marcus died, his funeral was attended by hundreds. Grateful customers, loyal employees, and curious onlookers came to pay their respects. His tomb inscription read, "Here lies Marcus, who made Rome smile," which was touching, if you didn't think too hard about how he accomplished it. His sons inherited the business, expanding it throughout the empire. By the 2nd century CE, Marcus's marvelous mouth rinse was available from Britannia to Egypt. The family business lasted for generations, until changing tastes and the rise of Christianity, which had opinions about bodily fluids, finally ended the golden age of urine commerce. But for a brief, shining moment in history, Marcus the merchant proved that with enough entrepreneurial spirit, you could build an empire on anything, even pee. Now, not everyone in Rome was thrilled about starting their day with a cup of age urine. Shocking, I know, even in a society that watched people fight lions for entertainment and thought lead was a great sweetener for wine. Some folks drew the line at gargling human waste. Enter the critics, the party poopers of the pee party, if you will. The most vocal opponents were often foreign visitors, those unfortunate souls who came to Rome expecting civilization and instead found people swishing pee like it was fine wine. Germanic ambassadors would write horrified letters home. The Romans built magnificent aqueducts to bring fresh water from miles away, then choose to rinse their mouths with age urine. I cannot comprehend this logic. Greek intellectuals, always ready to feel superior to their Roman conquerors, were particularly snooty about it. We gave them philosophy, mathematics, and democracy, one Greek scholar wrote, and they gave us this. They pointed out that Greek dental care involved chewing mastic resin and using silver picks, which was clearly more civilized than gargling someone's processed lunch. But the real drama came from within Rome itself. Medical professionals were split into two camps. The pro-pee practitioners and what we'll call the maybe we should try something else faction. Celsus, a medical writer with apparently functioning nostrils, suggested that perhaps, just perhaps, there were other ways to clean teeth. He recommended a mixture of rose petals, oak galls, and myrrh. His contemporaries laughed at him. Rose petals? What's next, Celsus? Shall we brush our teeth with butterfly wings and unicorn tears? Some physicians worried about the health effects. They noticed that heavy urine users often developed mouth sores, which they attributed to excessive purification rather than, gargling ammonia every day. One forward-thinking doctor named Scribonius Largus suggested that maybe the burning sensation wasn't actually cleaning, but was actually burning. He was largely ignored. Religious critics had their own issues. Some priests argued that using human waste for hygiene was an affront to the gods. The body's evacuations are meant to be expelled, not recycled, thundered one particularly dramatic pontiff. What's next? Shall we eat our own dung? Please don't give them ideas, thought everyone listening. The early Christians were especially appalled. Here was yet another example of pagan decadence and moral decay. Bishop Clement of Alexandria wrote scathing sermons about Roman vanity, specifically calling out those who would rather have white teeth than pure souls. They polish their teeth while their spirits rot, he declared, conveniently ignoring that most of his congregation probably had terrible breath. Even among the common people, there were holdouts. Rural farmers mocked city dwellers for their precious imported urine. We clean our teeth with salt and rough cloth, like our fathers before us. They'd say proudly, their remaining 3 teeth gleaming with self-righteousness. Women, in particular, faced criticism for using urine-based beauty products. Male moralists, who had no problem gargling pee themselves, somehow decided it was unseemly for women to do the same. A proper Roman matron should have naturally clean teeth, they proclaimed, as if dental hygiene was something that just happened through moral virtue. Some entrepreneurial critics tried to offer alternatives. A man named Didius opened Rome's first natural dental emporium, selling tooth powders made from herbs, charcoal, and ground pearls. His shop lasted exactly 3 months before going bankrupt. Romans might have been willing to try new foods or new gods, but new dental care? That was a bridge too far. The poets had a field day with the controversy. Martial, that master of the nasty epigram, wrote countless verses mocking both users and critics. Gellius refuses to use urine for his teeth, says it's beneath a Roman's dignity. Yet his breath could fell an ox at 20 feet. Perhaps some pee would help with his felinity. The satirists were even worse. Juvenal devoted whole sections of his satires to mocking Rome's obsession with oral hygiene, painting vivid pictures of senators comparing their urine suppliers while the empire crumbled around them. Nero fiddles while Rome burns, he wrote, and citizens debate whether Portuguese or Spanish piss whitens best. Public debates were held in the forum. Serious philosophers would stand before crowds and argue the ethics of urine use. Was it natural because it came from the human body, or unnatural because it violated the body's intended design? These debates could last hours, with audience members occasionally ducking out to use the very public urinals that supplied the substance under discussion. The anti-urine faction tried everything. They spread rumors that urine caused madness. They claimed it shortened lifespans, ignoring that most Romans died young anyway thanks to lead pipes and gladiatorial entertainment. They even suggested it caused impotence, which finally got some men's attention until they realized their wives were spreading that particular rumor. One radical group calling themselves the Pure Mouth Society went so far as to attack urine warehouses, smashing storage vessels and liberating the contents into the Tiber. They were arrested not for vandalism, but for polluting the river. Even Roman authorities had standards about where urine belonged. Foreign merchants tried to capitalize on the controversy by importing alternative mouth rinses. Egyptian merchants brought natron-based cleaners. Syrian traders offered aromatic resins. One enterprising Phoenician even tried to sell blessed seawater from the shores of Tyre, claiming it had all the cleaning power urine with none of the social stigma. None of these alternatives caught on. Romans were creatures of habit, and their habit involved mourning ammonia. The medical establishment eventually reached a compromised position that satisfied no one. They declared that urine mouthwash was acceptable for dental health, but should be used in moderation. What exactly constituted moderate gargling was left deliberately vague. Once a day? Twice a week? Only on special occasions? The guidelines were about as clear as the liquid in question. Some creative Romans tried to have it both ways. They'd use urine mouthwash, but follow it immediately with strong wine or aromatic herbs, as if they could somehow cancel out the pee with enough rosemary. Others claimed they only used medicinal urine prescribed by their physicians, which was totally different from regular urine, you see. It came in fancier jars. The debate even reached the imperial palace. Emperor Vespasian, who famously taxed urine collection, was accused of profiting from Rome's moral decay. His response? He held up a gold coin earned from a urine tax and asked his critics if it smelled bad. When they admitted it didn't, he declared pecunia non olet, money doesn't smell, thus ended that particular moral debate. Cash trumped squeamishness, as it always did in Rome. The critics did score one minor victory. They managed to get urine mouthwash banned from religious ceremonies. Priests performing sacred rites were required to use wine or water for ritual purification. Apparently, the gods had higher standards than mortals. Or maybe they just had better breath naturally. Some regions of the empire rejected the practice entirely. The Gauls, despite being under Roman rule, stubbornly stuck to their traditional oak bark rinses. The Britons used a mixture of ale and herbs that probably didn't clean anything, but at least got you slightly drunk at breakfast. The Egyptians continued their age-old practice of chewing aromatic twigs, looking down their noses at Roman barbarism, while conveniently forgetting their own history with crocodile dung toothpaste. The intellectual class remained permanently divided. Stoic philosophers argued that using urine showed admirable pragmatism and rejection of squeamish sensibilities. Epicureans countered that surely life's pleasures didn't include starting your day with a mouthful of someone else's waste. Cynics just laughed at everyone and probably didn't brush their teeth at all. Artists documented the controversy in their own special way. Frescoes from Pompeii show scenes of daily life, including dental care, though archaeologists debate whether certain yellow liquids depicted are wine or something else. One particularly satirical mosaic shows Neptune spitting water, while a merchant offers him a jar labeled Premium Lusitanian. Even the god of the sea wasn't safe from urine merchant marketing. The controversy created ancient Rome's first wellness influencers. Wealthy Romans who publicly rejected urine mouthwash made sure everyone knew about their alternative routines. I only use crushed pearls from the Red Sea mixed with honey from Hymettus. They'd announce at parties, smiling with their slightly less white teeth. They started trends that lasted about as long as modern health fads, which is to say, not very long at all. Some entrepreneurs saw opportunity in the division. Urine-free taverns popped up in wealthy districts, advertising that no human waste products were used in their establishment. They charged double for wine and triple for food, but at least you knew your cup had never held anyone's processed beverages. These establishments lasted until the owners realized they were losing money faster than a gladiator with butterfingers. The debate even influenced fashion. Those who rejected urine mouthwash started wearing specific pins or brooches to signal their stance. A small silver mouth with a cross through it became the symbol of the anti-urine movement. Naturally, the pro-urine faction responded with their own pins shaped like tiny amphoras. Because if you're going to have a ridiculous debate, you might as well have matching accessories. In the end, though, the critics remained a vocal minority. Most Romans continued their morning urine routine without much fuss. It was like modern people who know social media is bad for them, but scroll anyway. Sometimes societal momentum is stronger than logic, stronger than disgust, stronger even than the smell of aged pee wafting through your villa at sunrise. The critics kept criticizing, the users kept gargling, and Rome kept spinning on its weird, wonderful, slightly ammonia-scented axis. Now we arrive at the most pressing question of our journey through ancient dental hygiene. Did it actually work? Did Romans walk around with genuinely whiter teeth thanks to their morning ammonia gargle? Or was this all just history's longest-running placebo effect? Well, I hate to be the bearer of disturbing news, but it actually worked. Science has vindicated our urine-swishing ancestors, and we all have to live with that knowledge now. Let's talk chemistry, but don't worry, I'll keep it as painless as a Roman dental exam. When urine sits around for a while, bacteria break down the urea into ammonia. Ammonia is a legitimate cleaning agent with antibacterial properties. It's the same stuff in modern glass cleaners, just with a significantly worse origin story. The ammonia in aged urine has a pH of about 9.5, making it alkaline. This alkalinity helps neutralize the acids produced by bacteria in your mouth, the same acids that cause tooth decay and bad breath. It also helps break down plaque, and can indeed have a mild whitening effect on teeth. Roman urine mouthwash was essentially a crude but effective antibacterial mouth rinse. Modern archaeologists studying Roman remains have found something interesting. Many Romans had surprisingly good teeth for ancient people. Sure, their enamel was worn down from all that pumice powder scrubbing, but they had fewer cavities than you might expect from a civilization that loved sweet wine and had never heard of fluoride. Dr. Elena Bernardis, who definitely didn't expect to spend her career analyzing ancient Roman dental health, studied hundreds of skulls from Pompeii and Herculaneum. Her findings? The average Roman had better dental health than medieval Europeans who came 1,000 years later. Their teeth show signs of regular cleaning, she noted in her paper, trying very hard to maintain academic neutrality about the cleaning method involved. But here's where it gets complicated. Yes, the ammonia killed bacteria. Yes, it helped prevent cavities. But the Romans were also sandblasting their teeth with pumice and crushed bones every day. It's like power washing your car with acid. Sure, it's clean, but at what cost? Many Roman skulls show severe enamel erosion, especially on the front teeth. They were literally scrubbing their teeth away in pursuit of whiteness. The combination of acidic wine, abrasive cleaning powder, and ammonia rinses created a perfect storm of dental wear. By age 40, many Romans had teeth worn down to nubs, but hey, they were white nubs. The breath-freshening claims also had some merit. Ammonia is excellent at neutralizing sulfur compounds, the main culprits behind bad breath. A good urine gargle would indeed eliminate the smell of last night's garum-heavy dinner. Of course, it replaced it with the smell of ammonia, but Romans seem to consider this an acceptable trade-off. Interestingly, not all urine was created equal in terms of effectiveness. The Roman preference for Portuguese urine might have had a scientific basis. Different diets produced different concentrations of urea and other compounds. A diet high in vegetables and low in meat, common in ancient Portugal, would produce urine with higher ammonia potential and fewer sulfurous compounds. The Romans might not have understood the chemistry, but they recognized the results. The temperature preferences also made sense. Room temperature urine would have the optimal ammonia concentration. Too cold, and the bacterial action slows down. Too hot, and the ammonia evaporates. The Roman practice of aging urine for about a week hit the sweet spot for maximum ammonia production without excessive bacterial growth. But, and this is a significant but, there were serious downsides the Romans couldn't have known about. Regular exposure to high concentrations of ammonia can damage soft tissues. Many Romans probably suffer from chronic mouth sores, gum irritation, and what we now call chemical burns. They attributed these to excessive purification or oral demons fighting back, not to the fact that they were swishing industrial strength cleaning solution. There was also the infection risk. While ammonia has antibacterial properties, urine isn't sterile, despite what your survival guide might tell you. It can contain various pathogens, especially when collected from multiple sources and stored in less than sanitary conditions. Romans, using communal urine supplies, were essentially playing bacterial roulette every morning. The psychological effect can't be ignored either. Romans who used urine mouthwash believed they were taking care of their health, which probably motivated them to maintain other hygiene practices. They were more likely to clean their teeth regularly, avoid certain foods, and pay attention to oral health. The ritual itself, regardless of its actual content, created a culture of dental awareness. Modern dentists studying ancient practices have recreated urine-based mouthwashes for science. Dr. Marcus Aurelius published a paper in the Journal of Historical Dentistry describing his experiments. His conclusion? While ammonia-based rinses do show antibacterial properties, I cannot in good conscience recommend aged human urine as a mouthwash alternative. Please stick to Listerine. His experiments showed that urine mouthwash was about as effective as a very weak modern antibacterial rinse, but with significantly more risks and infinitely more social stigma. The antibacterial effect was real, but could be achieved just as easily with salt water, wine, or various herbal concoctions that didn't require a supply chain of human bladders. The real tragedy is that Romans were so close to better alternatives. They had access to salt, which makes an excellent mouth rinse. They knew about various antibacterial herbs like thyme and oregano. They even had primitive tooth powders that, without the pumice and bones, might have been reasonably effective. But cultural momentum is a powerful force, and once urine became the standard, it was hard to convince people to try anything else. Some Roman physicians did experiment with alternatives. Scribonius Largus developed a tooth powder made from salt, pepper, myrrh, and saffron that was probably quite effective and definitely more pleasant. But it was expensive, and it didn't have the proven track record of good old-fashioned pee. When choosing between an experimental new treatment and a disgusting but familiar option, most Romans stuck with what they knew. The practice did have one unexpected benefit. It probably reduced sugar consumption. Knowing you'd have to gargle urine in the morning might have discouraged late-night honey cake binges. The taste combination of sweet treats followed by ammonia rinse was apparently awful enough to serve as behavioral modification. Some Roman texts mention avoiding certain foods specifically because they made the morning rinse more unpleasant, which is really saying something. In the end, Roman urine mouthwash represents both human ingenuity and human stubbornness. They observed a real phenomenon, applied it to a real problem, and achieved real results. The fact that there were better, less disgusting methods available is almost beside the point. It worked just well enough to become tradition, and tradition is harder to kill than mouth bacteria. So yes, horrifyingly, disgustingly, scientifically it worked. Our ancestors gargled pee and got results. They also got chemical burns, social stigma, and breath that could clear a room, but their teeth were indeed whiter. Whether that was worth starting every day with a cup of aged urine is a calculation I'm glad I never have to make. Though I'll never complain about the taste of my toothpaste again. All good things, and especially all weird things, must come to an end. The golden age of Roman urine gargling couldn't last forever, though it had a longer run than anyone could have reasonably expected. For nearly 1,000 years, Romans and their cultural descendants started their mornings with ammonia on their breath. But change was coming, flowing like fresh water through newly Christian Europe. The decline started slowly, like tooth enamel erosion from excessive pumice scrubbing. As the Roman Empire fragmented and transformed, so did its hygiene practices. The elaborate trade networks that brought Portuguese premium to Roman bathrooms began to break down. Suddenly, that aged Lusitanian vintage was harder to come by than an honest politician in the Senate. The rise of Christianity dealt a significant blow to the urine industry. Early Christians associated bodily waste with sin and corruption. The idea of using urine for beauty purposes seemed like vanity at best, paganism at worst. Bishops preached against the practice, though probably not too forcefully since their congregation's breath was likely testing everyone's faith. The body is a temple, they declared, conveniently ignoring that temples needed cleaning too. But the message resonated with converts looking to distance themselves from pagan practices. Giving up urine mouthwash became a sign of Christian devotion, like giving up gladiatorial games or sacrificing to Jupiter. Though arguably, the gladiator thing was easier to quit. The fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE created practical problems for the urine trade. Without centralized authority, maintaining quality control became impossible. The careful system of collection, aging, and distribution fell apart. Local warlords weren't particularly interested in maintaining urine supply chains when they were busy fighting over actual territory. In the Eastern Roman Empire, things held on longer. Byzantine nobles continued to practice well into the Middle Ages, though they added their own refinements. They mixed their urine rinses with exotic spices from the Orient, creating what one chronicle described as an assault upon the senses that somehow managed to offend both nose and eye simultaneously. The Arab conquest of much of the former Roman world introduced new hygiene practices. Islamic culture emphasized cleanliness, but had very specific rules about bodily waste. Using urine for hygiene was explicitly forbidden. Muslims introduced the Mouthwash, a teeth-cleaning twig that was effective, portable, and involved zero human waste products. Suddenly, there was a genuinely better alternative available. Medieval Europe developed its own dental traditions, most of them terrible in new and creative ways. Some involved wine and herbs. Others used salt and honey. The very wealthy might have access to tooth powders imported from the East. But for most people, dental hygiene became a casualty of the Dark Ages, like literacy and functional plumbing. The memory of urine mouthwash lingered in medical texts. Medieval physicians, copying ancient Roman sources without understanding them, would occasionally prescribe urine rinses for various ailments. But without the infrastructure and cultural acceptance, these recommendations were about as popular as a plague rat at a wedding feast. Some isolated communities tried to maintain the practice. There are records from 12th century monasteries where monks, attempting to follow ancient medical wisdom, experimented with urine-based treatments. These experiments usually ended with stern letters from bishops and occasional excommunications. Apparently, there were limits to what you could do in the name of health. The Renaissance brought a renewed interest in classical knowledge, but some things were better left buried. Humanist scholars, reading ancient texts about Roman hygiene, were horrified. "Surely this is a mistranslation," wrote one Italian scholar. Perhaps urina meant something else in classical Latin? It didn't. The past was exactly as gross as it appeared. By the early modern period, urine mouthwash had become a cautionary tale about ancient ignorance. Enlightenment thinkers used it as an example of how far humanity had progressed. The Romans built aqueducts but gargled piss, became a shorthand for the paradoxes of ancient civilization. Voltaire probably had some witty comment about it, but it's been lost to history, which is probably for the best. The final nail in the coffin came with the advancement of chemistry. One scientist could explain exactly why urine worked as a cleaner. They could also create better alternatives. Ammonia could be produced without the middleman. Suddenly, you could have all the cleaning power without any of the social stigma or breakfast-ruining taste. The discovery of bacteria and germ theory made the idea of communal urine gargling seem not just disgusting, but actively dangerous. Victorian scientists shuddered at the thought of their ancestors sharing bacterial cultures along with their morning rinses. The practice became a symbol of pre-modern ignorance, filed alongside bloodletting and mercury treatments. Yet traces remained. Into the 19th century, some rural communities in Europe maintained folk remedies involving urine. Farmers might use it for cleaning, leather workers for processing hides. But as a mainstream dental hygiene product, that ship had sailed, taking its cargo of amphors with it. The last commercial urine mouthwash operation probably closed sometime in the late Middle Ages, its proprietor either switching to more acceptable products or retiring to count their coins and try to forget what they'd been selling. The great urine warehouses were repurposed or demolished. The specialized collection vessels became curiosities, their original purpose forgotten or politely ignored. Today, the practice survives only in history books and the horrified reactions of people learning about it for the first time. Museum guides at Roman sites tactfully gloss over the details of ancient hygiene. Tourist shops in Rome sell replica Roman cosmetics, but somehow never stock authentic urine-based mouthwash. Can't imagine why. The fall of Roman urine culture wasn't dramatic. There was no Great Pee Prohibition, no mouthwash martyrs. It simply faded away like the smell of ammonia in a well-ventilated room. One generation used it less than their parents, the next abandoned it entirely, and eventually, it became just another weird thing the ancients did. But perhaps we shouldn't be too quick to judge. After all, future generations might look back at our practices with equal horror. They injected botulism toxin into their faces for beauty. They'll say they drank cow mammary secretions. They thought tiny computers in their pockets were essential for survival. Every age has its peculiarities. Rome's just happened to involve more urine than most. So here we are, at the end of our journey through the ammonia-scented halls of Roman dental history. We've gargled, we've gagged, we've gained a newfound appreciation for mint toothpaste. But what have we really learned from this deep dive into ancient Rome's most memorable hygiene habit? First, humans will try absolutely anything in the pursuit of beauty and health. The Romans weren't stupid. They were observant, practical people who noticed that aged urine whitened wool and thought, hey, teeth are kind of like tiny sheep face wool, right? It's the same spirit that leads modern people to put snail mucus on their faces or drink activated charcoal. The pursuit of improvement makes us all a little crazy. Second, disgust is surprisingly relative. To Romans, starting the day with urine mouthwash was as normal as coffee is to us. They discussed urine varieties the way we discuss coffee beans. They had preferences, opinions, brand loyalty. What seems unbearably gross to us was simply Tuesday morning in ancient Rome. Culture shapes our sense of normal in ways we rarely appreciate until we look back at history and go, wait, they did what? Third, sometimes terrible ideas actually work. The science, horrifyingly, was sound. Ammonia does kill bacteria. It does whiten teeth. It does freshen breath. The Romans stumbled onto an effective solution through observation and experimentation. The fact that there were better, less disgusting alternatives doesn't diminish their achievement. They solved the problem with the tools they had. Even if those tools were, well, liquid human waste. Fourth, infrastructure matters. The Roman urine trade worked because Rome had the organizational capacity to make it work. Collection systems, transportation networks, quality control, distribution channels. It was a marvel of logistics applied to the worst possible product. When that infrastructure collapsed, so did the practice. Sometimes civilization is just the ability to organize complicated systems around basic needs, even when those systems involve pee. Fifth, tradition is powerful, often more powerful than logic. Once urine mouthwash became the standard, it stayed the standard for centuries despite alternatives being available. People kept doing it because their parents did it, because their dentist recommended it, because it was what one did. Breaking free from established practices requires more than just better options. It requires cultural shift, generational change, or systemic collapse. The story of Roman mouthwash is really a story about being human. We're clever enough to notice patterns, brave enough to experiment, social enough to share our discoveries, and stubborn enough to keep doing things long after we should have stopped. We're simultaneously genius and ridiculous, innovative and tradition-bound, clean-obsessed, and willing to gargle pee if someone tells us it'll make our teeth whiter. In our modern world of electric toothbrushes, fluoride treatments, and dental insurance, it's easy to feel superior to our urine-gargling ancestors. But are we really that different? We put toxic chemicals on our hair to change its color. We inject our faces with neurotoxins to look younger. We drink energy drinks that could probably strip paint. Future generations will undoubtedly look at our practices with the same bemused horror we feel toward Roman mouthwash. The Romans gave us law, architecture, engineering, literature, and the foundation of Western civilization. They also gave us the image of dignified senators gargling pee every morning before heading to the forum to debate the fate of the known world. Both legacies are equally real, equally human. Perhaps that's the real lesson here. Civilization has always been a mix of the sublime and the ridiculous. We're capable of building coliseums and aqueducts while simultaneously thinking aged urine is the key to dental health. We can compose beautiful poetry about the human condition, while our breath smells like a public restroom. We contain multitudes, and some of those multitudes are pretty gross. So the next time you squeeze out your minty fresh toothpaste, take a moment to appreciate it. Appreciate that someone, somewhere, figured out how to clean teeth without involving anyone's bladder. Appreciate that your morning routine doesn't require a urine merchant or quality control testing. Appreciate that morning breath is no longer literal. And maybe, just maybe, spare a thought for those ancient Romans who started each day with a cup of courage and a mouthful of ammonia. They were doing their best with what they had. They wanted what we all want, to be clean, to be healthy, to be attractive to whatever gender they were trying to impress. They just took a very, very different path to get there. History is full of these moments where humanity's cleverness and humanity's capacity for normalizing the absurd collide spectacularly. Roman urine mouthwash sits at that intersection, waving cheerfully at passing centuries, reminding us that progress isn't always linear and that sometimes, just sometimes, our ancestors were exactly as weird as we suspected. Sweet dreams and brush your teeth with toothpaste. Please, for the love of Jupiter, with toothpaste.